Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Atrax.
We are working class nerds.
Cue the intro.
That's right. We are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information. Today is Thursday, April 28th, 2022, and you can find this 150 podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere you can find a podcast in the galaxy far, far away. You can watch me terribly fail at video games Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at twitch.tv/MarcusB814.
And you can see me play MMOs and other fun things Sunday and Monday nights at twitch.tv/A_Atrax.
You can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I am at Atrax_A. And this week's episode is the big 150. Nick is out getting hit with balls and getting covered in paint. So I'm assisting Marcus celebrate this milestone and also welcome the guest today. He is a master of pull-ups, BioWare certified content creator, and recurring guest and longtime friend of the Working Class Nerds. It's Kogass. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, guys.
What have you been up to?
Oh, what's up, guys? Not much. Lots of just enjoying life as it is, doing some studying here and there for some things at work, and PvPing in SWTOR, playing my favorite class, the Jug, because I love jugs. They're just so much fun.
Well, yeah, especially when they're bouncing.
Ray would love it.
But anyway, so like Atrax said, Nick is at a national paintball tournament. He is definitely getting shot with lots of different balls and splattering all over his face. And he'll be coming home with lots of welts. So good luck, Nick. And yeah, but Kogass, what have you been doing in SWTOR?
Well, it's been so PvP, ranked PvP has kind of died down a little bit on SWTOR. So I've been playing just mainly regs. I've been working on just actually playing some Rage versus Vengeance Juggernaut. I know. Gask, he's not playing the exact same thing. I might switch it up and actually start playing some Sork or PT later on. Who knows?
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm going to try to expand a little bit more in this expansion because I'm really enjoying it. I actually was really terrified of how the Juggernauts were going to be changed. And oh my gosh, it was actually a lot of fun. I like within like the first 2 or 3 days, I was like, hold on, these changes are actually really good. There are still some things I miss from 6.0, but for the most part, 7.0 Juggernaut is much more viable than 6.0 or pretty much anything from 5.0. It's almost as good as it was before 5.6 when they did a lot of class balance, which is many years ago.
Yeah, I would say for the most part that the happiest people in the new expansion for SWTOR have been PvP players, right? Or that I've noticed, you know what I'm saying? Because it's been new and fresh.
And you can
We're the least upset. How about that? I mean, the only thing that's really bad right now is that augments are not working in PvP. So you essentially just go in with your 320 gear and you don't have to really work. You can't really do much for min-maxing. So you just kind of go in there. It was a lot of fun when the expansion first dropped because what ended up happening was the 306 gear was actually bolstering, right word, wrong word, better than 320 gear. So if you were trying to PvP in your 306 gear, you realize that your 306 gear is better than anything else you have that you can get. So you were already min-max for the expansion for like the first month and a half.
Right.
Interesting.
And then they fixed it, and now you have to actually have gear, which made me sad.
Well, there's a lot more going on with the game right now than just that. Man, I'll tell you what, being in my basement, you know what Google Docs has to do? They have to have a dark mode installed.
Don't they?
No.
Can't you switch the...
No. There is no dark mode for Google Docs. Look at my face.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you're pretty lit, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
you have to actually set it up for dark mode on your desktop, I think, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my God, it's bright. Anyways, so Atrax, what have you been up to?
I have been really, really enjoying my MMO Mondays. I think that's been my highlight kind of lately. Been mixing between Guild Wars 2 and World of Warcraft again. Found some relatively cheap sub time. So yeah, I got back into WoW. It's gotten a lot of hate, and I think understandably because of what the company is going through and all of that stuff. But for me as a new player, well, relatively new, it's been great just kind of getting back into it. It's a feel good. And same with Guild Wars, actually. What I do play with Guild Wars, I mostly play with a group, and it's, the same group, and we do fractals, which are basically dungeons. And we just kind of go in there, do those, try and get some gear. And that's really what MMOs are all about, right? Just hanging out with friends and getting gear, getting stats.
When you say dungeons, is it a 4-player or 8-person content?
5. It's 5. It's 5. Yeah. So the way they do in Guild Wars, they have 25. I think it's more like 20, 22, somewhere in there, because there's a couple duplicates, but they have like an easier and a more difficult version. But there's 25, and they're organized into 4 different, or I'm sorry, they're copied into 4 different tiers, tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they get more and more difficult with this mechanic called agony. And in the easier tiers, you can get armor and gear, which you can equip that has agony resistance. So you can do more difficult fractals. It's kind of a nice, they have a daily rotation.
Like an augment?
No, I guess
it's like your veteran buff is what it sounds like.
Yeah. So it is a socketed thing. So you get a piece of gear that has, 2, what are they called? I can't remember. See, this is the type of MMO stuff I never pay attention to. I just play the game. But it's a socketed thing. And as you do these fractals, you get, chests that you can unlock that have infusions. That's what they're called, that have infusion points. And you can combine lower tiers into higher tiers. So you have a bunch of tier 1s that you get. You can combine those into a tier 5, which gives you 5 agony resistance. And then you can socket that onto a ring that you got, which has 2 sockets. So, you put 2, now you have 10 agony resistance, that sort of thing.
Is your ring your precious?
It's kind of funny. I forget what it's called, what it's exactly called. I'll have to look it up, but it's like the red ring of something. I call it the red ring of death. And I always say I have a dead Xbox in my inventory.
Oh my God. Did you guys remember that? I had my red ring of death, but I ended up meeting somebody that could just mod the Xbox. So I just gave it to him and he modded the hell out of that Xbox. And it was actually, that system was amazing.
Oh yeah, the Xbox 360. I remember that was one of the selling points of the Xbox One, was like, it can't get the red ring of death because there isn't a ring anymore.
Right.
Oh man, good
But
times.
I feel like the Xbox One was so like subpar. Like there was nothing memorable about the Xbox One.
Oh man, I think it's all about perspective. For me, there was a lot of cool stuff. Titanfall on the Xbox One. There was no game on PlayStation in my mind at the time that could compare to Titanfall on the Xbox One. That game was so good.
Wait, are we talking about the original Xbox or Xbox One?
No,
Xbox
so
One,
Xbox
not the
One.
original
So there was
Xbox.
Xbox, then it was Xbox 360, then it was the Xbox One,
Yeah,
and now it's the Xbox Series X.
and
Because
S.
I never got into Xbox. I'm not a big console player except for the Switch. So you say Xbox,
that's
I'm like,
fair.
cool.
Sorry,
That one.
I should have clarified.
I understand
That's
that.
especially when it's Xbox and Xbox One, and then the original Xbox, like the Xbox One, as some people would say. No, I
Right.
totally get that.
Well, it's so funny because what I think Xbox or Microsoft does right, and I've had this rant 1,000 times, is they release their games day one on PC. So you can buy any game that comes out on the Xbox day one on the PlayStation, on the PC. For me, that's a huge selling point.
Yeah.
Because they're making their money anyways. It's like, I still try to figure out, is Sony more worried about console sales or game sales?
Definitely. I think they lose money on every
I thought it
console
was
they
game
sell.
sales.
I think it's all game sales.
Yeah,
It's
so
all
why-
game sales because whenever they sell the console, they lose money.
Yeah.
They actually like lost money on whatever PlayStation when it releases, and then they want money back, from the games or the accessories. This is where they really start to make their money.
Oh yeah, man, controllers are so expensive. Or
Yeah.
you have like Nintendo, you have those IPs that they own, like Mario, right? And then they only have that. And I think Sony has some
Yeah,
of those
I mean,
too. That's
yeah.
you get into exclusives and stuff. So yeah, big sidebar. And actually, it's funny that you mentioned Microsoft because they own Blizzard now, and huge WoW news. I mean, we've gotten Wrath of the Lich King Classic announced, another WoW expansion, and they're announcing a mobile game too.
Wait, all right. So you just dove into this. They're releasing something that was already released.
It's
Wait a minute. You could just play it and go do that expansion.
yes, but the leveling system is a lot different. The game has changed drastically. Like if you play retail WoW, which is like current WoW, and you play classic WoW and you try and play them the same, retail WoW in your starting zone, you can just run in there and you probably won't die. In classic WoW, you will get wrecked by, like a mouse or, a murloc or something. Yeah.
But something else that is really clear to me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in this world is all talk when it comes to games or stuff like that, because everybody would quit WoW. They're like, what they're doing is wrong. But all those people are starting to crawl right back.
Yeah.
And for me, look at the little puppy in the back. Sorry. I see Kogass has got his puppy behind him. Anyway, for me, it's more of like, okay, it's been 2 years. Like, it's almost like Warcraft is a little bit throwing a little SWTOR out there, because like it's been 2 years since an expansion, right? Of course they're due for an expansion. And people are not people are going to come back. That's, I guess, what I'm saying.
Right.
Though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like just like SWTOR players, when 7.0 came out, there was an influx of people. When Witch Queen came out for Destiny, influx of people.
Guild Wars, and then it dies down within a month. Right.
Well, it's not even that it dies down in a month. It's that people play the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you look at like all those people that quit WoW because of their whatever. I don't know what to say. How do you say it? Because of what was going on in the business, but everybody came back. Mm-hmm. People are coming back. I'm never going back. that fishing pole goes out with that lure and it's spinning through the water. You do want to get it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's that MMO hook that I always talk about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I watched the trailer for the expansion. All I saw was
it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say. All I saw was a bunch of dragons that you're going to be able to fly. That's it. That's it. Like, okay, so they put dragons in the game. This has been in Guild Wars 2 since Guild Wars 2 came out. And Guild Wars 2 is killing all the dragons now. So,
yeah. I mean, it is a new class and race in one. You know, so they are adding that to the game and obviously new areas and stuff. I mean, they're trying.
Wait, so you're saying a playable race is a dragon?
Yeah. Yeah, they're called the Drag Theory. They're like
that's not lame at all. So I mean, this was where I saw the trailer. You see this stone dude. You see him with other stone dudes, and they say, "Okay, wait for the signal. Sleep." And so they sleep. Stone dude wakes up. Stone dude's friends are all dead. Stone dude tries to wake up dragons, and then he does it, and then there's dragons, and then that's the trailer.
Yeah.
You know what? The Mr. Pandoria one, like, as much as people gave it shit for being like, they joked about bringing in the Pandorums, like, as an April Fool's, and now it's actually happening. At least that was a great trailer, you know, where you have the orc and the human fighting each other, and then they're like, here, take the stick that I was just fighting you with, and or you were fighting me with, and use it against this dude.
I kind of liked the idea of the panda one because who doesn't want to play as Kung Fu Panda?
Right?
Like, I'm a fat guy. Let me tell you, this fat guy wants to be a ninja, just like Beverly Hills Ninja or Kung Fu Panda.
I've played a panda monk recently. I did that on stream the other day. That was a ton of fun. Monk panda.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking for more details. And I'll bring up something else as a sidebar to the trailer, like with nothing. Did you guys see the new Thor trailer?
No, I haven't.
What? I have. Yeah, I have.
And I feel just as lost watching the Thor trailer that I did watching End of Dragons or Dragon Bones, whatever it's called for World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, I loved Guardians of the Galaxy.
So how are you lost with the Thor? Or did you not like Thor? Like,
no, it just like, I don't know what's like. All it felt like was it was just a bunch of scenes thrown together, and the best you got Chris Pratt and them talking about family and see you later. Like, I have no idea what the plot of this movie is going to be.
I don't want to know what the plot of the movie is going to be. I'm excited for it. I mean, obviously, at least I would think that it's Thor doing whatever he is with the Guardians and then calling it a day because he got back into shape. I mean, you got thick Thor working out to get back getting back into shape. I love that part. And then, you know, because he's lifting these chains of who knows what, holding the monster, like, you know, whatever it was back, getting back into shape. And now he's like, all right, he's recovering from, you know, that 5-year depression that he had of failing back in
Infinity War.
Wasn't Endgame.
Infinity War.
Infinity Wars, right?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta imagine the amount of emotional damage he had.
Emotional damage.
When he was told you should have gone for the head, you know, he could have stopped everything from happening for 5 years, and that sticks with you. And so now we're seeing him getting over that, and we're gonna see how he's doing. And all of a sudden, at the end of the trailer, we see Mjolnir, his hammer, his lovely, faithful hammer, going to some stranger. Bump, bump, bump to him. I mean, we all know who that is, but I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Right.
Jane Fonda.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so Atrax, so you're playing your MMOs, you're back in a WoW.
Yes.
You find some cheap sub time. When you die, you go to the grave. What about the first person shooters?
Run all the way back. Yeah. So the CSGO events have been going on, the PGL Major as well as Blast. which are 2 professional tournaments. I really, really enjoy those. Esports, go Astralis.
Do you enjoy? Do you compete in them?
No, that is I don't want to take it that seriously. And I don't want to take any game that seriously. Like, I enjoy watching people who do. I think that, I can appreciate it, but I don't know if I could be able to do that. I don't know if I could be a professional gamer in that respect. I could be a professional gamer in general. Just I play a ton of games, but I don't know if I could do that. That's too many people, man. So that's going on. And then I've also, for first person shooters, I've been playing Apex with my good friend Ripsick, and Rycans as well has hopped in for a couple of Apex games, which I wanted to bring up because, I don't normally play battle royale games. I don't normally enjoy them, but this one I actually
Royale with cheese.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of cheese. There's a lot of cheese in these battle royales, let me tell you. But it's really fun. I've found to just not take them seriously at all. And you just run in there all the time. And sometimes you goon people and end up winning. And sometimes you don't. And that's it. I can't play it solo, but it's a lot of fun.
I played Apex in the beginning and I liked it. The only thing I didn't like is, and this is more just complaining because it's not perfect, is they give you like 10 bullets to a clip. So you shoot those, and if you don't get that mechanic of like switching guns to finish somebody off, you're always going to die.
Yep.
They're never going to give you enough bullets in one clip to kill the other opponent.
I've learned that the hard way too many times. So that's pretty much been what I've been doing.
One more Apex question. How many characters can you pick from now?
6. I don't have very many unlocked.
But yeah, but how many are available?
Oh, how many are available? At least I think 20.
Wow.
At least 20, because what Rip does sometimes is he'll do a challenge. He has a 20-sided die and he just rolls one to pick a random character.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because when I played, I think there was 7. They just
okay.
I forget the guy's psycho name.
Octane.
Yes, he was just released when I play it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
that was way back.
He's pretty low on the list.
Right. Yeah, but he was the new character.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. There's quite a few, and I still have yet to be able to identify them. People call them out all the time, and I'm just like, there's one over there, shoot at him. Like, that's pretty much my experience with it. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to just enjoy that. Apex I think it has really, really good fluid movement.
It definitely does.
Stuff
and
like
there's
that.
no fall damage, which is amazing.
Yes, exactly.
You can leap off a cliff and not die.
Yep. Yeah. And you can take those zip lines straight up into the air, and then you can like fly around and
that wasn't
relocate.
In the game when I did it.
Oh, really?
When I Apexed, that wasn't available.
They added this new, I love it. They added, it's like a giant balloon floating, I don't know, 100 meters or so in the air with a zip line attached to it. And you can take it and it goes straight up, and then you can just fly and relocate your whole squad, somewhere else. It's pretty neat.
I will say that a battle royale is the most streamer friendly type of game there is.
Yep. 100%.
Because you get in the game, you play for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes, and then you go to a lobby. So like the streamer can focus on the game, blah, 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 kill. As soon as he dies, you have like 5 minutes of nothing. So you can hang out, chat with the chat, and move on. I think that's why battle royales were so popular.
Yeah, it is a lot of action, and it's not a lot of queues, and it's not a lot of downtime either. Even when you're not necessarily engaging on enemies, there's always that constant looking around and like, well, is somebody over here? Is somebody over there? We should maybe move over here. It is nonstop action. So,
Kogass, did you ever play any first-person shooters?
I'm trying to think. Does GoldenEye count?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
on
That could be-
N64.
Yeah, that could be the greatest.
N64.
That could be the greatest first-person shooter ever created.
It
I mean,
certainly
it was the
helped.
game changer, right?
Oh yeah, it defined the genre for sure. What was the short guy that always ran around? Odd Job. Yeah.
Never play Odd Job, man. It was an unwritten, well, it was a really often spoken rule. You don't pick Odd Job.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you got the golden gun, it was over.
My friends and I, we used to play Armor maxed out or Handicap maxed out, whichever one it was, and Slappers only. So we'd literally just be trying to slap each other. And we all hear like, for 30 minutes. And we're just like, I'm going to kill you.
That's
It's
awesome.
just like, well, I still have half my health.
That's amazing.
All right, so
Yeah,
I have some rumors for you. On March 17th, 2022, GoldenEye's trademark has been updated by Nintendo.
okay.
Whoa.
What does that mean necessarily?
I bet they're going to remaster the game. Release it on the
Again.
Switch.
So updated as in they renewed the
trademark.
trademark on
So
it.
they own the trademark, but you can put it in like your legacy bank.
Okay.
Purgatory and update it and bring it back.
Okay, gotcha.
So if they redid the trademark, they paid all that money to bring it back. I'm guessing they're doing a remaster or a brand new game, because look at what they did with oh my God, I can't believe Final Fantasy VII. That remake looked incredible. People loved it, and it was only a third of the actual game.
Right. And well, I also wonder too, because the Switch is now, they've offered with their, I think it's like the Switch Plus expansion pack or whatever. You can get N64 games on the Switch. You can play those old N64 games. So they might be bringing, like in the meantime, they might port it to that. And then, like you said, remaster it and bring that
update
back.
the graphics, like bring it
Oh,
back.
yeah.
Like, think about how many nerds like us would play that game. If that game came out, can you imagine the Twitch viewership or the amount of streamers playing fucking GoldenEye?
Would you stream it, Kogass, if it came out on Switch?
I probably would not. Just because I have no strong skills in this first person perspective, and I don't know, man. I'm not a big enough fish for that.
All right,
it's not my pool.
No, I understand that. I would stream it day of one time just because.
Yep.
Like the nostalgia of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably do a LAN party stream. Right, I would call my buddies and like bring Nick over and two of our other friends and just sit there on 4 screens, split screen, and then just go. But I do like the Nintendo Switch Plus that you can play Nintendo and Super Nintendo games on it.
Yeah.
I find myself playing F-Zero a lot.
Wow.
From Super Nintendo. I loved that game when I was a kid. Because you go over the
booster. Guess you just got to say, I love that game. Stop using the past tense.
Oh, well, I do love the game still. That and
there you go.
UN Squadron, but they don't have that on there.
Gotcha.
It was just one of those things. Go ahead.
So, Marcus, would you say that's what you've been up to lately?
No. Wonderful segue, though. First, I'm going to take a couple minutes. Sorry, everybody listening. Thank you. I'm going to say thank you a lot because of stream as well, but thank you. 150 episodes. Yes, Nick is not here. Last week we were going to record 150 and go through every single guest's name that we did, but Nick and I decided to get dinner, and then we ended up eating so much and just chatting the whole time that we didn't make it back to record, and that's okay too. We've been doing this for 4.5 years, and
wow,
150 episodes is no joke. Like the first 3 years was every other week, and then when COVID hit, we did every week, and we haven't stopped. And you both have been on the show multiple times, and like, there's other people that have been on, and it's been so surreal. And to think that we've said, "Hey, I'm Marcus," over 150 times, because there's a couple lost episodes that didn't make it to production. And it's surreal to think that we still do this week in and week out. And if I can say what's even more surreal is after the show goes out and your friend or somebody messages you or pings you and says, "You son of a bitch, I can't believe you said that," or something of that sort, or, "Oh, this guy, doesn't know what he's talking about," or the day that I said I'll tell you, the worst hate I've ever gotten was the day that I went crazy talking about how bad the PlayStation controller is. I think I legit got 30 messages telling me how I suck so bad, and just realized that PlayStation is the superior race and all this stuff. And it's fucking funny, man.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, there's been some really funny messages. Or when I call somebody out, or Nick calls somebody out, and then you get the ping, "Thanks for calling me out, dude." You're like, "No problem. Suck less." You know what I mean?
Right.
It's no small feat. Like, yes, other podcasts have hundreds more episodes, but like for us, 150 episodes, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of guests to arrange. That's a lot of topics to talk about. That's a lot of notes made.
And we've got some cool fucking guests, man. And it's not stopping. This train it's like one of those Chinese high-speed trains. Those things are trucking.
Bullet trains.
Yeah, the bullet train. That's what it's called. I want to go on one of those.
It would be really cool. I too have often thought like it'd be cool to visit some of those larger, cities in that part of the world.
Well, right, because like I think isn't China? Oh no, Japan has it too, right? The bullet train, but I think it's only.
I think that's where
Japan.
it's from. Is Japan? I think.
Oh,
I think that's where it originated from.
I'd be too afraid that they'd put a.
Don't quote me on that though.
Well, if it's in Japan, I'd be a little afraid that they'd put a Mario banana on the tracks and it would go off. Or they'd shoot a blue shell. That would be
so great, though. Can you imagine if that's how everybody got around, is in Mario Karts? It would be wild.
All right, I got to ask, who is your go-to Mario Kart player, Kogass?
Oh wow, which version of the Mario Kart are we looking at?
Wait, you switch characters by the game?
Oh yeah, dude. Listen, there's a difference between like the Super Mario Kart character list, the N64 Mario Kart character list, and the newest one, which is Mario 8 Deluxe, and all those. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of
Mario
fun
Karts
ones
on the DS too.
Wait a minute,
I never played those, so I'm only talking about like the main systems.
Wait, I just must be an old motherfucker, because I only pick one character. There is only one to pick.
Yeah, you only pick Toad.
Toad, of course.
You only pick Toad.
Only pick Toad. That's it. There is nobody else.
I'm sorry, but there's a lot of fun characters in the new one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Atrax.
Go ahead. You first. You're the guest. All right, fine. I cave. You can't see it if you're hearing it, you can't see it. He's pointing at me. He's saying it's my turn. All right. Yeah. I totally disagree, Marcus. In Double Dash, Toadette, way better than Toad. You get way more golden mushrooms when you have Toadette in your cart than when you have Toad.
I don't need golden mushrooms. I've got the magic ones.
Also,
my.
The red Paratroopa is the best. You get the most red shells.
So let's see if we go back to this. When Super Mario Kart came out for the Super Nintendo, and me and my best friend, we would dub ourselves the Bash Brothers. I don't know how. but he would pick Donkey Kong or Bowser, and I would pick the other one. So it was always he'd be Donkey Kong or Bowser, and I'd be Donkey Kong or Bowser. And we're like, we're just the best bros. And we'd see how much we can just push each other off of the tracks, right?
That's awesome.
Somewhat the same in 64 version. And then on the Switch one, or the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it was so many of the cool like what are the little Bowser dudes, the one with the colorful mohawk. That was one that I really liked. Or the heavier set little one. Those guys are a lot of fun to play. So I'm just like, why would I want to play Toadette when I could be one of these guys and just be mischievous? Because by no means am I ever mischievous in real life.
Yeah, right. Did you see his nose grow, Pinocchio? I well, maybe okay, but honestly, I'm being so honest here. Like, I've only ever played, like, of course I've tried another character, but like when it's go time, it's only Toad. And it will ever only be Toad because
do you always win?
Yes. Well,
always.
No. If I lose, it's usually the time I lose. I don't do the online stuff, but it's like the 200cc where you got to like jump into the corner and drift.
Oh yeah.
Like that's hardcore. The other ones, of course, I win, but like 200cc, that's like pro level, and you have to be in third place the entire race. So you got to keep it off until it's like halfway through the third and final lap, where that's where you kick it into gear. Because if you're in first place, they're gonna blue shell you because the AI will not let you win.
Oh yeah, dude, I have games where I've gotten 10 coins, because I'm trying to get all 10 coins on Mario Kart 8, and literally as I am crossing the finish line, like my front wheel is already over the finish line, but the game hasn't registered that I hit the finish line yet. I got hit with a lightning bolt, lost 3 of my coins, down to 7, didn't finish it with that. Mario Kart 8 is so brutal to you. It's not even funny. It's so mean.
We should all race. One race.
What do you mean one race? You can't just have a one race night of Mario Kart. You can't do that. You can't just be like, all right, guys, we're going to do just one race. No. You got to do a full circuit at a minimum. A full circuit.
Can you play it multiplayer?
At a good average, you got to do all the circuits. Because each circuit is different. Each circuit has many different complexities to it. You can't just say, all right, we're going to do one race, the regular circle track. No big deal. All right. And go. And Marcus will be like, Yahoo!
Yeah. Isn't there's like 32 different tracks. You want to do one race?
One race for pink slips. And it'll be my choice.
Nope.
I can't wait to beat him and be like, I'm going to kill Toad now. Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm in trouble. Ah. I'll
get him next time. See, mine doesn't usually say that because I win.
I always win too.
But so on the Switch,
here's the thing is that I always win 3.
So my question to you guys are, does the Switch have online, like where you can have friends?
Yeah.
What's your gamer?
You just can't do voice over Switch because of toxicity.
Yeah, and it's not nearly as easy because instead of just being like, oh yeah, my gamer tag is blah, blah, blah. It's like, my Switch code is 7830624WZM. Like, it's this super long code.
And if I can go one more conspiracy theory, they're saying that the Switch can't handle Breath of the Wild 2. So, ready for my tinfoil hat? When they released Breath of the Wild 2, brand new Switch gets released with it.
Well, isn't there already a Switch Pro? Do they just mean that it won't be good?
No, that's the OLED.
Yeah, it's just a bigger screen. That's it. Everything else is the same. Just bigger screen. They didn't even put more RAM in it.
I mean, I can see that, but I don't know. You need a bigger game catalog for the Switch before you can have another one.
The game catalog is pretty legit.
Listen. Compared to where the Wii U was, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember back then, but the Wii U, if the Switch was not what it is, Nintendo would be out of the game. Like, Nintendo would not be where it's at. It barely survived its Wii U phase, and the Switch brought it back out of the dark age.
My friends and I always made it a joke. We need an ambulance. Wii U.
Anyway, and then last Sunday, April 24th, was my 2-year stream anniversary.
Let's go.
My first stream 2 years ago was April 24th, and I didn't make it a big deal. A few people called me out on that, and I just didn't want to make it a big deal, but everybody ended up making it a big deal. It was so much fun. I played Destiny, and like, people were in there, they were making me laugh. I was trying to make them laugh, but it was mostly rip that guy. And it was so much fun.
Rip that guy.
And you don't realize how long 2 years is until you think about, like, wow, I've been doing this 2 years. It feels like I just started doing this. Mm-hmm. And that's, 2 years ago, my daughter was 4. Now she's 6. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy to me. And I'm officially old. And so thank you to everybody who has been continuing to support the channel and coming by and having fun. You guys have no idea how much that shit means to me. This has been a tough couple months, but it's really good to see everybody come around and come hang out, and getting people to play the game. That's awesome, because Destiny is really fun. And I don't know how the Twitch algorithm works, but thank you to all the people that have rated my channel. Like, these people, I have no idea who they are, but they seem to find me.
There is no Twitch algorithm. These are people finding you. That's the biggest issue with Twitch, is that there's no algorithm. These are the people that have looked out into the Destiny community and have found you, Marcus B814, and have said, I think I want to raid this guy. That is literally the biggest issue with Twitch, is that there's no algorithm. There's no channels, like what channels recommended. You think that comes up? Do you think people read that? That's like the weakest thing. Compare that to YouTube's algorithm. Compare that to a TikTok algorithm. Got to be kidding me. Sorry.
Well,
small tangent into another tangent. I'm not even going to let you talk right now, Marcus. So I'm very happy that you did your 2-year anniversary, because I didn't do anything big for any of my. I've never done a Twitch anniversary. I don't even think if you've realized that. But last year, or this year, however you want to say it, I didn't do a birthday stream. The week before, it was like my birthday was on a Saturday. On that Monday, I got in a car accident and I totaled my car. So I was not in the mood to do anything. I was barely streaming as it was through that. I had just gotten over COVID, and I was just like, I don't want to do anything. And I regret it so much that I didn't do anything, because it's just a missed opportunity to celebrate with your peers, with your community, with your viewers, with this, like, all that. I mean, look at what Atrax did for you on this one with that awesome video. I've watched that thing like 3 or 4 times. I love it. We get to see Marcus going, hey! We get to see smooth baby face Marcus with Tatooine in the background. It's just hilarious. And it's a missed opportunity when you don't do that. So I'm very happy you did it.
I appreciate you saying that. And, I was going to say, anyways, an Atrax made an awesome video, partnered up with Greenbot, and it came out so good. And I didn't even know it was happening until he posted it. He sent me a message that was like, oh yeah, here, play this. And I will say this one thing is, having somebody do that for you, or I didn't know, but somebody doing that, like, anybody out there that wants a video like that, I tell you to call Greenbot or get a hold of them. because it may not cost a lot of money, but send them like 20 clips of your past, however long you've been streaming. Because the one thing that I noticed from the video is how far the channel has come. If you look at some of those, like I had banners all over, the whole screen was cluttered with stuff. I got attacked by a fucking bee.
There's
like
a bee in my house. That's my favorite.
Bee in my house. Right. But like, and to watch a stream evolve is pretty cool. Because if you go back, I'll say Kogass's, you go back 2 years in Kogass's stream, his stream looks vastly different then than it does now.
Yep.
We should hope so. We always want to strive to grow, right? There was somebody who it was just after I actually got to become an official SWTOR content creator. So this was a long time ago now. But he talked to me in voice, and he was like, Kogass, you used to do this, you used to do that, and you don't do that anymore. Kogass, you've changed. And he tried to kind of take that as a jab at me. And now that semi resurfaced, and I'm like, I'm not having anything to do with this person. He's done some really messed up things. He said some really messed up things in my presence. He's messaged me upset that people antagonized him for the things that he said. And I'm just like, I'm glad I've actually changed. Because the worst thing is to see somebody the exact same spot where they were 4 years ago and not grow as a streamer, not grow as a person, not grow. Like, what have they added to themselves? What are they learning? Are they doing anything new, or are they just doing the same old thing? And I actually pity that person now, because they're not doing anything different. They're not doing anything to have themselves grow, and they're still doing their best to try to be relative in what they do. But I mean, it's just sad.
Well, it's like you said, you have to evolve, right? You have to evolve to grow. Somebody, one of the most powerful things that another streamer said to me, and this is dating back a while, and I'm not going to call the person out because the person hearing it will know. I was talking about followers. I think I was going for 1,000 followers, or maybe 500, right? And I remember it, and I said, man, I lost 3 followers today. And the person said to me, I unfollow people all the time. And I said, really? And they said, yeah. And I said, why? He said, because if their content was great, I would watch their channel. And I said, and he actually said, you're doing that person a favor by unfollowing them, because it's letting them know that they need to work on their stuff. And now I follow everybody and I stick around. But what was valuable out of that was watch your own content. And always strive to be a better streamer, content creator, husband, dad, whatever it is. Always strive to be better. And that sticks with me to this day, because I think about it all the time. Like, how do I make my stream better? I think I have this conversation with friends, and they have the same conversation with me. It's, how do you make your stream better every time?
Squats. That's the answer.
Well, pull-ups is the best.
Yeah, pull-ups. I thought it was.
My arms are still sore, by the way.
That's the best. But see, that's how you engage. But that's how you engage your audience. Like, even if they don't want to donate bits or sub or anything like that, you have channel points where if they hang out in your stream and you save X amount of points, you'll do a pull-up. But if you get 3 or 4 people that all do that at the same time, now you got to do 4 fucking pull-ups. I'm a big guy. Pull-ups are awful. 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 And you start doing 20 or more.
It's really cool that you bring that up, because that's exactly what I was having issues on, was I was not having the engagement that I was looking for on Wednesdays. And that's where I was like, I think I was talking to you, or I was trying to think of something to do. And I was like, so what do I do? Well, I've got this pull-up bar. I got this closet behind me. Why don't I just make some use of it? And everybody can be like, dude, that closet's as bad as your inventory, Kogass. And I'll be like, yeah, we don't worry about it. But, those are the kind of things, like, you have to grow, you have to adapt, you have to change, and you try your best to figure it out. Now, every stream, it has a possibility of being a pull-up stream or a squat stream, or I guess it's gray sweatpants stream or salsa dancing, because that's how I re-engage my chat, because not everybody is a fan of PvP. I know, shocker. I'm shocked. I don't get it, but it's okay.
Well, I think the difference between PvP, and I'm doing my quotation marks with my bunny ears, and your stream is you make PvP fun and non-toxic. You're not screaming, fuck yeah! You know what I mean? You're not you're not bringing toxicity. You're actually bringing positivity. You're like, fuck, I lost. Oh, well, let's get ready for the next one. You know what I mean? And then on top of it, the game you play so well that you're almost, while you're playing it, you're almost like your own announcer. So for a lot of people who don't play SWTOR PvP and they want to, they can watch your stream and learn how to play the game by just watching and listening to you, because you're like teaching them how to do it while you're playing it. So it's almost like it engages more people. I mean, there's some other SWTOR PvPers, like I've tried. There's only 2 SWTOR PvP players that I can really watch. It's you and Chimeri. That's it. Because everybody else, well, I don't really know anybody else because I don't watch them. You know what I mean? Like, sure, if another streamer is streaming PvP, I'll watch, but you're like the what's that ring announcer's name? Let's get ready to rumble. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Whatever
I remember.
Whatever that guy's name is. It's like what I think of when you're playing PvP, because I'm engaged by watching it to do it. But
Michael Buffer.
All right. So
he made like millions just by saying that. Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching across the world on HBO Max, let's get ready to rumble. I can't do it, but that's my best
pretty
shot.
Good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
But yeah,
I was engaged.
He made millions off of that. But yeah,
but at the same time, now, when you create content that is engaging for people to watch, they're going to watch, right? If you're a brand new streamer, I wouldn't tell you to engage the chat. I would tell you to be consistent. You know what I mean? But other than that, but like, evolve as you go. Don't think the way you're doing it today is the way you're going to be doing it 3 months from now, because switching it up is okay. You know, I've walked away from stuff that I've done streaming, which I loved, but I don't do it anymore because it didn't flow right with who you are. And let's be honest, it takes a while to figure out what you're going to be like as a streamer.
Yep.
Find your little, I was talking with somebody today about, believe it or not, I have the most fun in stream like when I'm doing the hard solo content and dying a lot and like crying. But I will say, like, I did become a whiny bitch when I was doing one of the hard contents because it was like impossible for me. It was like too hard for me.
Right.
But I just need to suck less and learn how to play the game and get the right guns. So now I'm motivated to get the right guns so that I can do the content, because sometimes you need a bigger gun. Anyways.
Oh my.
A couple more things. Destiny released a trial, kind of like Fortnite did with no building in Fortnite, and they like released it as like a trial, but it was such a hit they fixed it. Gambit in Destiny made it so that Gambit is a PvE and PvP game. So you can invade the other team's side. That's what makes it PvP. Or you stay on the PvE side and kill all the AI. And you collect motes, do all these things. But in the old Gambit, when somebody sends enemies to you because they deposited motes, you would lose your motes to be able to win the game. Well, now they stop that, and now if an invader comes in and is on your side, you don't even need to. He doesn't even need to kill anybody. You lose motes just by him being in there. So it almost makes your team have to go hunt out an invader, which is a really cool mechanic, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot. Last thing is calling all Destiny players. If you're listening to the show, I'm on vacation next week. This time next week, 1 week from today, I'll be doing a live stream from the place is called Bow's Castle, which it's all decorated in Bowser theme. And I'm going to be hanging out with a bunch of friends like Stay Alive and Nazir.
Or Nerds Community.
Yes. And there's a bunch of
you're gonna. Where are you guys? Wait, where? Huh?
In Orlando.
Who, what? Where? When? How?
In Orlando.
He's going to be there. You're going to meet Stay before me. You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Tsunami's coming. Like, it's going to be great. I can't wait.
Tsunami Safari. I love saying that name. I love that full name. I'm sorry. It's one of my favorites to say.
So I'm going to meet a bunch of people and I'm going to do a live stream. As long as my phone service is good, I figure I'll do like a half an hour live stream from there just so everybody can see us all together. And I'm going to wear my Sunday best. I think I'm going to wear an elephant bikini. Or just maybe my pink shorts.
You should go as
wear the pink shorts.
You should go as Robert Incredible.
No. So Robert is being fixed right now because I tried to be funny with my kids. So I put on the suit and I ran out, but I kind of tripped. And when I tripped, I bent over and it split up the ass crack. So
oh no.
So it's going to be fixed, and yeah, it's fine. It's just it's just a spaceman.
It's fine. Everything's fine. It's totally fine.
So anyway, so when I come back from vacation, I'm going to be starting a Destiny raid team, to be determined on the day. But I'm starting a raid team. Experience is going to be whatever it is. We're just looking for non-toxic, and as my number one rule comes, no douchebags. Can't be.
I'm out. I'm sorry.
Well, Kogass, if you could play Destiny, I would definitely put you on the team because you helped me so much in SWTOR rating. Like, you helped me start from the bottom and then I got there. You know what I mean?
Man, I remember you as a story mode raider. Oof, man. You're like, what are we supposed to do here? I was like, Marcus, you have to worry about the mechanic. What mechanic? This one. That's a mechanic? Yes. Can't just blow through it.
Oh, Marcus, you can't stand in the yellow puddle. What yellow puddle? The one you're standing in. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Marcus, what buttons are you hitting? 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Do you know what a rotation is? No. Marcus, are you serious?
I think I talked to Marcus before he even got his first MMO mouse.
Wow.
I think he was still a clicker when I talked to him.
Yes, I was a clicker.
Filthy clicker.
That's something I still have to fight in MMOs. I have all the buttons mapped out and everything, but I still have to fight the urge to click stuff.
What my advice is, it's like learning how to keyboard and mouse from a controller. Like, if you're used to a controller, keyboard and mouse for me took a month to really like get comfortable with. It's like you have to do like hand stretches to like learn how to do it. But once you do, I can't ever go back. Now, like, I can never imagine not having an MMO mouse. Even in Destiny, like, all of my stuff is on my thumb. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
In MMO, I walk with the two mouse buttons hold down. So my WASD was all my defensive cooldowns because I can't do it all. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know.
Dude, I don't know how you walk with the mouse. I use
amazing.
WASD. I don't know how you do it.
I still use W to walk, and I point my direction with I hold my left clicker pretty much, or my right clicker pretty much the entire time.
I usually do that too.
You just have to have fast reaction in PvP.
But I can't imagine like strafing with mouse.
You can't. You don't strafe. What do you need to strafe for? You don't need to strafe at all in an MMO.
You rotate your camera angle with the mouse, so there's no strafing.
I guess.
Or I actually have my strafing set as A and D. So my camera angle is changing completely with just my mouse, my right click, and my scroll wheel.
That was
man.
A was Saber Ward and D was Cloak of Pain.
I guess that's the FPS gamer in me that needs to strafe left and right.
Yeah, I don't even strafe in Destiny.
So here's the thing: in SWTOR, your character actually moves slower when you jump with your spacebar. So if you're PvPing and you're trying to get from one person to another person and you're jumping, you're actually slowing yourself down.
That's funny. That's a good way to combat people just jumping all over the place.
Yeah. I don't know what I was getting at with that, but that's just a random fact for the day.
No, I appreciate the random SWTOR fact.
I'm going to see if I can find it while I'm sitting here. But the other, so the hunt is on. So I am going on vacation, as I've said. So every time I go on vacation, I need to buy a new Switch game because I need something to play, right? The problem is I pretty much, I have a bunch of games, but what I've found is I can't just play anything, right? Because it has to be easy enough on the plane to where my kids, like if they need something, I need to be able to pause it. Like I tried to play Breath of the Wild. That was too much. It was like, I don't want to say too complicated because that's not the word. But it was one of those things. What would you both suggest as a great Switch game that's easy to play on a plane? And don't say Mario Kart is excluded.
Are Mario games in general excluded or just?
No, I have Mario Kart and I have Mario Party, but Mario Party is better with friends.
Right. How long is the plane ride?
Like 2.5 hours.
Okay,
so this one might be a little bit of a surprise for you. It's a much older game, and it was actually ported from the Wii U, because any good game from the Wii U era has been ported back to the Switch. Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 are both really awesome games.
I played the original one. Hold on, let me see. I might have it. You guys keep talking about the games because I want to see, but.
If I'm not mistaken, Bayonetta 2 will come with or it comes with Bayonetta 1. I think.
Or so the physical copy did, but I don't even think they have them on sale anymore. I got it when it first, it was like a limited release. So if you've got that, good job, because that might be a rare Switch game in the future, now.
It was digital for me, so I just have the digital copies of the.
I got the physical copies.
That's awesome. Yeah, Bayonetta is a great game.
Yeah, I would say Bayonetta is actually a really fun game to play, and it hits that spot. I just don't know how well Marcus can play that, around his kids. Either they understand it or they don't get it, but
right. So
might be a little adult themed for them.
So I have the Baldur's Gate games. I was actually thinking about playing that because that's turn-based, right? I have Immortal Phoenix Rising, but that's like Breath of the Wild. I can't do it. I was actually I have Octopath Traveler. That seems like a good one. I could play the Hyrule Warriors again. I have Final Fantasy 10 or not 12. I could play Diablo 2. I have a bunch of games I
Diablo's
do.
a good one.
Yeah, because like it just needs to like pass the time, right? All I
What
need
about
is
Metroid?
it's too hard. Like I'm not good at a
I was
Metroid
gonna
game.
say Metroid's got mechanics.
Yeah, like I have I've got a ton, but I feel like some of these games uh some of these games are good. What is that one? Trials of Mana.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you just want something that works, I think Bayonetta 2 would be a lot of fun if you had never played it.
Right.
You said Metroid was too hard.
Well, I
Let's
like,
see.
so I tried to play Metroid the last time I flew. I couldn't do it. I tried to play like that Bloodstained. It's like the Castlevania Symphony of the Night sequel. Like it was too much. Like it was too intense for me.
What
Like,
about the Lego Star Wars game on the Switch?
so I was thinking about that, but my question is like, am I going to really like struggle to see what I have to do? Like what I liked about Bayonetta and like Hyrule Warriors is it's just you're just going around slashing shit. That's it.
Right.
That's the whole mechanic. Just hit stuff. And I feel like anybody
Right.
like on a plane button mashing would be fantastic. Cause like I was also thinking like a turn-based game, but is that going to be like, meh? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with turn-based game is that like if your kids want to join you, they might get bored of it, and you have to be like, well, now I have to play both characters because they got bored of the game and they don't want to play anymore.
Well, they're not going to play. They're going to be like, and here's the other wild card. Or do I just bring my iPad Pro, my work one, and play Knights of the Old Republic? Because I've been playing that. I just got off Terrace. You know what I mean? So do I play Knights of the Old Republic just because it's classic and I love that game?
What about this Witcher game, The Witcher 3? I'm browsing Switch games. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition.
Yeah, I would never play that on the Switch. That game is meant to be on a PC.
Yeah, you need top tier graphics for that one.
It's like you need a 3090 or something on a computer.
I've got one. So here's all right. So here's the cheat code. You ready for this? I'm probably gonna sell my 3090 and get a 3090 Ti.
Dang.
Good luck.
No, I got the.
Oh, what about this? There's a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 for the Switch. I didn't even know they did this.
Oh,
is it in physical form and only or in digital?
It's a physical form.
I'm sure they have a physical copy of that. That remaster is really good. I played it.
Hold on.
It's
awesome.
See if I order
it's on sale for $36. There it is. Save $3.
Tony Hawk Skate.
When that came out, I played it until I got gold and everything.
I remember I played that with cheats, like the first one. Man, I could hear that.
Yep.
That music. I don't know how it goes. Like I don't know how to verbalize it or make the sound. It's like you're. Yeah, exactly, man.
God damn it!
I think we found it with Tony Hawk Pro Skater, man.
I think so too.
There you go. That's it.
Target TARGET Target.com. Let's see if they have it. Tony,
I'm sure Amazon has it.
It'll get here Saturday. I'm leaving Sunday morning early. So,
I wouldn't trust it because if it
in
delays,
stock, $32.99 in stock. Pickup ready for tomorrow. Only one left.
Oh my god!
Swoop it.
Yep,
swoop it.
It's like you two were made for each other. You and that copy.
Listen, when that first here, do you guys listen to Spotify?
Yeah.
Okay.
I listen to you on Spotify.
All right. Well,
shout out to the Spotify listeners.
I'm going to give you guys the greatest gift ever. Somebody created the entire Spotify playlist of all the music in all of the Tony Hawk games.
Oh, that's nice.
Dude, I've been listening to that at work. It's amazing.
Like, it just brings back all this nostalgia, huh?
All of it. Anyways, so, we found the winner for the plane. In AIE news, Tuesdays are clan night for Destiny 2. We've been rocking. We've been getting like 8 to 10 people joining. It's been fantastic. We start at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's reset day, so that makes it a lot of fun. And there's enough stuff to do to keep everybody engaged. Shout out to Lannis for suggesting that maybe we start doing like harder quests that are, that you can't do with just one person to maybe receive an exotic gun. So when I get back from Florida, I think we're going to start doing that too. Maybe a couple of us break off and go do that. So listen, don't hesitate to join in on the fun.
Get in on the fun.
If all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org. Get our Discord info in the top right-hand corner. Ask for a guild invite. Join the Discord. Chat with us. Check out all of the games we play. When I talk about all of the games, I'm talking Lego Star Wars, Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, EVE, Lost Ark, Star Wars The Old Republic, Destiny 2, Diablo, Elder Scrolls Online. There are so many games that we play, and there's so many different divisions. I promise there's some game in that Discord that you play, that we play, and we would love to have you. So I know normally Nick definitely has to use the bathroom, but I'm sure Kogass and Atrax do. So we'll be right back. 150 episodes. Can you imagine that? I never did. I'm sure Nick never did. But 150 episodes. That's a lot of talking. Our first episode ever was the Last Jedi review. Now, we all know that has its tipping points when you talk about it, or polarization. But that was when we first started this show. Nick and I did the show for the first 3 years or 2.5 years, every other week, religiously. Every other Thursday, it was podcast day. We did that for a long time until this world got a pandemic. And when the world got a pandemic, we both decided that, listen, we need to do this every week. And more guests, more and more conversations, more and more banter between the both of us. What's magic about that is this podcast was created from us just talking about the things that we like to talk about and having the most epic conversations at work at the time when Nick worked for me. And no, he didn't get fired. He grew up. And we had lots of laughs at work, and that's where this show came from. So now, 4.5 years later, 150 episodes, Nick is living his dream right now, playing in a national paintball tournament with the best of the best around the world. So yes, he's not here to yell at me on the other side and tell me to suck less, but I'm going to do us justice today. So I just want to thank some people for what you have done for working class nerds, and how many people have come on this show and chatted with me and Nick, or as we call it, the Village Idiots, right? Our first episode was just us. On episode 6, we had Dent. Episode 8, Dr. Gameology. Episode 10, Brian from the Bad Feeling Podcast, which was a charity podcast guest host, because that's what he called it. We had Al, then Ted from State of the Old Republic podcast. Ari came on, my nemesis. Great friend, Albus. Dent came back. Bishop, Sakari, Max and Seema. I actually, on episode 20, had a meltdown, I guess. Scrubland Shad, Dent again, Utini Cast. Episode 25 was our first live episode, and that's the day that we realized the live episodes aren't for us. Then we had Derek Brinkman, who was the lead producer of Legends of Aria. Dr. Gameology came back. Nazir came on. Eric Musco came on episode 29 for the first time. Episode 31, we had Al and Dent. Then we had B Calves. Then there was episode 33, which is our 1 year celebration. Brian and Zen, Nazir again. Then we had our first time that we threw an entire AIE takeover for episode 36. We had Max, Seema, Tetsumi, and Dan Kinia. Oh, who can't forget episode 37 with Lady Ran and Kogass for the Soft Taco Talk. Then we had the Sith Talk podcast guys on. Ari came back. Episode 40, John Redden came on. Number 44, Ari and Dent came on. Number 46, Nick Irafino. He made Norman's Night in the Cave. Episode 47, Medulla in his ear. Wow. Episode 50, all it says was party time. Episode 51, Eric Musco decided he wanted to come back and he brought a friend, which was Matt Pusevich. Episode 52 was good old Intisar. This week in Orbish, great friend, awesome dude. Intisar, you rock. 53, we had Bo and Corvinus. 54, Kogass. 55, Kogass and Dr. Gameology came back. 56, we had Holly Fields. Come on. She voiced Nadia Grill. Episode 58, Slayer came on. Episode 59, we had Driggsy. Driggsy is a Twitch streamer, awesome dude, just a great friend. Episode 61, we reviewed The Rise of Skywalker. Number 62, Dr. Gameology came back. Man, I think Doc might hold the rule for the most hosts. Number 64, Jackie Cow came on. Jackie is a former BioWare developer and now works for Gearbox. Episode 66, Intisar came on again. Kogass, Rut, the Death Star Troopers for episode 69. That was our entire raid team came on the show. Episode 70, Dr. Gameology again. 71, Sith Lord Brit. 72, Jackie Cow. 73, now we can't ever forget this, Kogass and Glitch. Man, that was one crazy conversation. Number 74, Cat and Ven. Number 75, Fezgig. Number 76, we went live on Twitch. Oh, who can forget episode 77? We had Dr. Ravencourt himself from the University of Coruscant podcast. 78, Feta came on. 79, Sith Lord Brit. Number 80, Averia. Number 83, Dr. Ravencourt came back. 85, we had Greybog and Nicodus from the Star Trek podcast. 86, Kitty came on for the first time. 87, Jay Muscleman. 88, Mr. Intisar came back. 89, Ted from the State of the Old Republic came back. 91, Lucy. 92 was the first episode with Chimeri. 94, Max and Seema. 95, Chill and Kitty from UtitiCast. 96, Kogass. 98, Kitty. 99, Feta and Al. 100 episodes, Max and Seema. 101, Moxie came on. 102, Jackie Cow. 103, Kogass. 104, we had first time guest Serp and Chimeri with the surprise join in. Number 105, Atrax. Number 106, Arminestra. Arminestra is a voice actress, a real actress, and a streamer. Awesome. 107, Kitty. 108, Kogass. 109, Sage came on from Uplink Podcast. 110, Chronic came on. And he was drinking his orange spritzer, whatever it was, with an alcohol content of like 3.3. Number 111, Lore Seeker on YouTube and Warrior Nerd as I knew him. 113, it was just good old me and Doc. 114 was Rayu. 115 was Amish Ace. 116 was Mac Daddy. 117 was Kitty. 118 was Declan, streamer from across the pond. 119, Chill came on. 121, Vel and Intisar. 122, Oh No Plays / Creates. Kogass came back. Tabs came on for the first time in 124. 125 was Stay Alive. 126 was Chimeri and Atrax. 127 was Doritos. 128 was Randy. 129 was Nick and Feta. I was sick as a dog. 131, Kitty came back. 132, Dan Bly came on. Who can forget the Christmas episode with Storm and Norman for episode 134? 135, Dr. Gameology came back. 136, SM Playboy came back, or came on for the first time. 137, Serp came back. 138, we had the honor of meeting Gator and Hazel from Guardian Downcast. And still to this day, I still get to play Destiny with them, and they're just awesome. Number 140, Max and Seema. 141, it was the Kitty Litter podcast, which we had Kitty Kisses and Kitty Treats. Wow, there's a lot of people. Number 142, we had Out of Body. 143 was Ven and Cat. 144, Doritos came back. 145 was the infamous live episode, kind of live, like partial live with Chimeri when he drove down to Nick's apartment. Number 146, The Real Marcus B Gaming came on. Could the real Marcus B please stand up? Marcus B Gaming stands up. 147 was Tom TV. 148 was us. 149 was Free Ride Games. And then 150 was Kogass and good old Atrax. What I'm trying to say here to everybody is that this has been one wild, wild ride. And it's unbelievable to me how many people have come on this show. And it blows me away every time. Because you think about all of the people that have come on this show. All the people that have influenced us. And I can't thank them enough. Because this podcast doesn't happen without all of you. With that said, everybody, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really can't thank you enough. Nick is shooting his paintball gun in Dallas, Texas, and he's thanking you too. This has been one wild ride. I'm looking forward to having all the new guests on. We're looking forward to chatting with each one of you. If you want to come on the show, don't be afraid to DM me on Twitter or in the Discord. Don't forget to join the Nerds Community Discord. Thank you, and may the Force be with you. And we're back. So today, we're going inside Kogass's head. He is not wearing a maid's outfit yet. And we're discussing SWTOR's 7.0.2 point. I don't understand all the points update, but so the big update that came out for SWTOR this week was the weapons outfitter has been finally released. Finally.
Woohoo!
It's here.
Sorry.
Right. So any
Da-da-da-da.
lightsaber, blaster, anything in the game, you can now save and use, and it doesn't matter what it is. Now, for all the people out there that bought the SWTOR Digital Deluxe Bundle, can use that lightsaber that was in it because now you can use it because there was no mods in the game up until now. So now the weapons outfitter is released. The new customization functionality is now live. You can now have one weapon or weapons for dual wielding combat styles. Like everybody should be playing a Marauder. We all know that. Equipped with which will determine the stats applied to your character and stamp the appearance of another weapon of the same type via the outfitter. More information later. They're bringing back another double XP event. So if you've been dying to buy another character slot and level another character from 1 to 80, now is your time. You have starting May 3rd and lasting until May 10th. So guess what? On May the 4th be with you, you can create a pub character. But don't worry, everybody, because on Revenge of the 5th, you can make a real character, which is on the Empire's side. Anyways, so there's going to be a week long of double XP, and you're going to be able to get double XP and double Valor. What is Valor? I still don't know.
Valor is like it is your experience that comes with PvP. You get titles that come with it, and you actually have to have a certain level of Valor to actually queue up for ranked PvP. Not very high.
Oh, I see.
But
it's like level 20.
But you're
right?
also able to unlock. You're able to unlock it. The more important thing is you get titles. You get like the Gladiator, and then you get the Battle Master, and then you get Warlord, and then you get all the other ones, Elite Warlord.
So it's
all these other ones.
It's
and
like a
double
PvP
XP
rating?
It's not really rating because you earn it whether you win or lose.
Okay, gotcha.
So you just earn it, and it's a track.
Interesting.
And then so Valor's it's cool because you're able to unlock like you have to actually some of the old PvP gear you actually had to have like a certain level of Valor to put on. So the old Battle Master, you remember that? Oh, what is it? The Reavers, the one that looks like the Marauder, the spiky armor set in the game.
Yeah, like Darth Maul.
That one. Darth Maul's outfit. That one required actual Battle Master or required Valor to put on, and then people liked it so much that they ended up putting a different version of it on the cartel market because people didn't want to grind out the Valor for it because you need Valor level 40 or 60 or something like that to put on that gear. So there's some gear, some old gear that you would need Valor for to put it on, and the titles, and then you can get mounts or crystals depending on your Valor. That's mainly, that's way back when. You can get most of those color crystals via cartel market nowadays. So things you don't need to know in SWTOR.
Well, you do need to know it if you want to play ranked PvP, because when I dabbled my toes in ranked PvP, I had one character that could do it, and then I switched characters to try to do it on a different character, and I didn't have the Valor. And I had
Marcus,
to get
you didn't dabble your toes in the water of ranked PvP. You dove in head first on the shallow end. Let's just say what it was.
It was awesome. I made so many toxic people miserable, and it just proved that people are just unhappy. What were you going to say,
man. I cringed so hard when you were doing that.
But you have to say it had took balls to do it. Like I did fine. And you know what that was awesome is as mad as these players were, the people in my chat that were ranked PvP players were helping me
Oh, absolutely.
get better. They're like, Marcus, you need to make sure you do this. You need to make sure that you do this. And by the end of the night, I was holding my own for about a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. That is something that's actually been really cool over the past season. A lot of ranked players that enjoy playing ranked have been saying, you know what, we need to change our approach to the ranked community because everybody being toxic to the new players slowly kills off ranked PvP. And so what ends up happening is there's no more ranked players because there's no new blood, and the old players are like, well, I'm tired of ranked PvP. So that's something that's actually really fun to see is the change in the attitude of the player base for ranked. I mean, yeah, you still get your angry bad apples, but there's definitely been a lot of voices out there that have been saying, you know what, let's work on helping people out and getting them a better experience, like what you got versus what I got my first year of ranked PvP.
Well, let's just be honest. So in the beginning of the night, I actually had to ban like 7 people from my chat. Like it was like insta ban. They came in, they found out I was streaming, and they like the toxicity that came out, like the mods were in full force that night, like banning people. But once we banned like 7 people, some of the people in the chat, like it got so bad that I remember guys were /stucking when we were waiting for the match to start because they would rather stuck it than play with me. And
yeah, that's a
I
shame.
Was like, yeah, and I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna play. Like you're lost, dude. But like some of the people that came in my chat were like, dude, do this. You need to push Saber Ward. The second the fight starts, Saber Ward. Then you need to do this. And they're like, don't you know your class? Yes, I know my class. Do you know it for PvP? Fuck no, I don't. But I want to do this. And after them saying that, you know, I should really practice, the truth of the matter is this. In the game, I think if SWTOR wants to invest in ranked PvP, there should be a arena queue. Like have your regular PvP queue that like Chimeri does, but then you should have an arena queue that's like preseason all the time for ranked. So like guys like me, I could go into the ranked queue, ranked practice, we'll call it ranked practice queue, and learn how to play the objectives there. And then once I feel like I'm ready, then join ranked PvP and not look like such an idiot. But we're never going to get that. So moving on. So what else came out in this wonderful giant update that we've been so excited for?
So there's been a lot of changes. I'm going to kind of just breeze over them because some of the majority of them actually don't interest me or affect me, I should say. They renamed the end game mats. Okay. Moving on from that. I mean, it's pretty easy to understand them. You'll see where they came from. There's no reason to go over it. Eventually, you're going to just know them as they are. They fixed names on stuff. They updated some classes, so things actually work like they're supposed to. They also do we talk about the break that happened? I don't know if we want to talk about the break just yet. We'll hold off. We'll hold off on that. How they broke the game. Apparently, my jugs are broken.
Oh no, you can't fucking skip over that.
But hold on. We'll get to the end first, and then we'll talk about that.
All right.
The 2 biggest changes that I really like are the story mode bosses. Or the raid bosses now drop more tech frags, and they've made OEM's RPMs cheaper via tech frags, so you can start crafting your 300 level augments much easier. So they're not going to be overinflated price of over 1 billion credits. That's a good plus.
Yeah, anytime that you can combat economy, it's good for a game.
Right. So they're not going to be super expensive, because I was actually crafting 300 augments and making $1 billion credits, as soon as I crafted. Well, I was making like 3 billion, because I would craft one and it would crit 2 times. So I'd have 3 augments.
Billion.
Yes. And then they finally added losses count towards your daily and your weekly in regs and ranked PvP.
So that is a really good change. So if Atrax,
that is a change that should have never been needed.
Well, of course.
I am so upset. As soon as I heard that news, I was like, why are we doing that? There's no reason to do that.
I remember.
Don't take away losses from this.
Right. Well, you're creating toxicity. So if Atrax and I are new PvP players and we're jumping into a game, regular PvP, and there's Kogass, seasoned PvP player, and he's like, I just need one more win to finish out my weekly and I can go to bed, right? Queues up in a match. He gets 2 shitters like me and Atrax at SWTOR PvP, and we get our asses whooped. Now, this dude is mad that he didn't get his weekly. Next thing you know, he's raging at us because we're so bad and we shouldn't queue for PvP, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not saying it would be that bad, but it is that bad.
No, it got that bad. Don't get me wrong. It got that bad. People were standing outside of the map or as far as from the action as they could, and they would just be keyboard warriors and just say, you guys need to just let them win so this game can be over. I need another match. I need a new team. It was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, you want to say you're trying to get rid of toxicity? That just really promoted a cesspool of toxicity, and it took them 2 years to change that. And that was something players and PvP players and PvP content creators, not just myself, who were like, don't do this change. Do not make it wins only. That is not good. And now it took them 2 years to do that. Come on. I'm very frustrated that it took them that long. I'm glad that they finally did it, but I wonder how much of the population doesn't PvP anymore because of that change, because of that one singular change that I was advocate about not implementing 2 years ago, and now they're finally reverting back to it. I am upset that they didn't listen, but I don't get paid for those decisions. So there's that. And that's about it.
Sometimes I don't think they're getting paid to make the decisions. I think they're just like, I don't know at what point, if you have a toxicity problem in PvP already, taking away wins, like making win requirements, that's somebody going, oh, I think that's a good idea. People are going to like that change. Say what? You're just creating more toxicity. The thing
Absolutely.
I saw something in a tweet back a while ago, and it was like, it doesn't matter what you do in PvP. You're not going to get kicked out unless you're cheating. You can say whatever you want. You'll never get kicked out of the game.
Oh, man, let's not even say that much, because ranked season 14 was the worst ranked season for Star Wars: The Old Republic. I am going to say that. I would love to make a video about it. I hate that I would have to do that, because nobody wants to say this was terrible. It was the worst season for ranked PvP for not just one reason, not just 2 reasons, for multiple layers upon layers of reasons, right? They started the season off without the full map pool. They took out Mandalorian Battle Ring, and they took out Orbital Station. Orbital Station being one of the core maps in the game. Now, for a lot of people, that may not be a big deal. For me, as a main Juggernaut player, for anybody who played a class that was the first target, that was a huge deal. And I could go into the reasons for this, and I will, because I have a microphone and you're giving me the ability to do it.
Heck yeah. This is like, listen, at the end of the day, these things need to be talked about. And I raid in SWTOR, right? I don't do PvP. So hearing this perspective is a good thing.
Yep.
What ends up happening is in PvP for Star Wars: The Old Republic and these arenas, there's a lot of arenas that are flat, and those flat arenas, they're really hard to escape your enemies, right? Because they have a lot of area to see where you're going. There's not a place to the line of sight, which is hiding, turning a corner so nobody can leap to you, so nobody can just do a straight line shot at you, right? Two maps that's really easy on is Tatooine. There's a way to kite around Tatooine. It's just not the way you would think. And there is Corellia Square. Corellia Square is one of the most open maps you can fight on. As a primary target, and I'm not even saying as a juggernaut, I'm saying as a primary target, you only have 1 out of 4 people to go for. You're the primary target. You're the one that they want to kill first. You have to do anything you can so that you stay alive as long as you can. In those maps, there's not a lot to do. You have to intercede to a teammate. You have to run to somebody. You have to, phase walk out. There's not a lot of things you can do to the other team to help you out. In Mandalorian Battle Ring, in Orbital Station, a good time force push is glorious, okay? For example, everybody likes to go fight up top on the top rafters, on the top floor when you go up there. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I open up on a Juggernaut and I find somebody else to target, or if there's a healer or a tank, and they don't have anything that's going to prevent them from being pushed, I can force push them from the top to the bottom. And that takes him out of the fight. That essentially turns that fight into a 3v4 in my team advantage for about 8 seconds. That's a good 5 GCDs times 4 people. And that's that person got force pushed off, second and a half. He can't do anything. Has to find the ramp, orientate himself, and then get back up the ramp and then start to re-engage however he can. That time that it takes for him to re-engage is vital for a player like me who is the primary target, because that means I don't have to pop a defensive cooldown because I knocked down a DPS, or that means that we force more defensive cooldowns from our target, and I'm able to kind of stay alive and I'm able to kind of kite. Now, here's the other thing is that when I need to kite on an orbital station, I can jump down because I have that X access to go across. I'm not just flat. I can go down. And that lets me line of sight people. That lets me go around. That lets me do so much, which is why I love Mandalorian Battle Ring and I like Orbital Station. Now, in other games where you have competitive gameplay, StarCraft 2 comes to mind for me. In StarCraft 2, you have map selection or map veto, right? You can veto up to X amount of maps. If you have a 55 win percent, we're only going to do a 5% difference here. 55 win percent on a map, and you have a win percent of 45% on another one. I didn't think it was a big deal. I was like, why would I want to use map vetoes? So what? But then I looked at it and I was like, wait a second. That's a 10% difference in between those two maps. Right. Why would I want to play a map where I have a 5% or a 10% more chance to lose versus a map where I can actually win? So I can't actually see the stats because SWTOR's website doesn't go in depth like StarCraft 2's does and tells you your win percentage against other classes and other races and your win percentage in other maps. But you kind of start to get a feel for what maps you do well in. And Orbital Station and Mandalorian Battle Ring were one of my 2 better maps because I could kite on those maps and I could LOS. So that was the first, and that's what, a 5-minute rant about the first blunder of the season.
Right. And
so go ahead.
From my perspective, I hear you talk about these, all these different level designs and how they interact with the classes and what you have to do personally. And when I hear that, because I'm, I played a ton of SWTOR and then I kind of stopped because, PvP hasn't super interested me. And I've, mostly a PvE story player, which I really think so far as a casual player is where the game shines. And if you compare that PvP experience to some of the others for other MMOs, it's I have high hopes for the SWTOR team, that they can kind of help reevaluate these PvP maps, things of that nature, because it sounds like for now that's what a majority of the community is people like yourself who are, hardcore PvP players.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing about it
Go ahead,
is,
Marcus.
no. What I was going to say is the thing is I believe if you're going to have ranked PvP, every map should be available, just like Call of Duty, right? They put every map available, right? Sure, if you have a map in the rotation that people don't like, it's still in the rotation, but you could put it at a less of a percentage to win, right?
Right.
But restricting players from maps, because I'll be honest, when you restrict somebody from getting Nuketown and that is their favorite map, now their percentages of winning might go down because they're not playing their favorite map. And when you restrict people from playing anything, once they're put restrictions on you, people stop going, right?
Right. Well, they were saying they took those maps out because they were saying they needed to get rid of desync. That was their reasoning. That's the same reason why Vanden got taken out as well. For the most part, Vanden and Questball were both taken out. For the most part, I guess they're kind of fixed. I mean, desync still happens. It's not as bad as it was, but yeah, they should have never started the ranked PvP season with those two maps out, because here we go. Here's another reason why the season was terrible. It was 11 months long, 10 or 11 months long. They previously have stated, we want to have shorter seasons. We want to have seasons go from 4 to 6 months. 11 months is not a little bit over 6 months. So they still had time to just not start the ranked PvP season.
Right.
So that's another thing that happened this season in ranked PvP. Just too long of a season.
Yes. Well, I'm going to look at it as seasons go, right? The Destiny season is like 3 months. And that's their season. And then they move on. I don't know if Destiny has a ranked PvP, but what I'm saying is their seasons last, I think, 3 months, where that's how you keep it fresh. But again, I feel like when a season goes on too long, people stop playing it. Because like as soon as the ranked season comes, people are in it. They're playing because they want to get the rank. They want to play the games. But as time goes on, they're like, why am I continuing to do this? I've already hit my rank on 5 characters.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to development, honestly, and rewards, right? Like if I feel like they can't produce rewards fast enough to be able to shorten the season what it should actually be. And I don't know what it takes to make a reward because I'm no developer, right? I just think the proof is in the pudding.
100%.
But either way, I think we're going to circle back. I think that them taking out losses didn't count and putting that back in the game is a good thing for the community and the soul of the game. Because now,
but I wonder how many people will say it's too little, too late. It's been 2 years. You got to remember, this game is 10 years old. 2 years, that's 20% of the lifespan. Well, 80% of the lifespan, we had that. So I really want to see how. I wish I could see those metrics, because that was something that I would have been like, hey, don't do that. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. And then be like, well, whoops.
Well, I think, okay, so I'm going to play that game with you a little bit more. So I think the people that have left the game because of the PvP changes are not coming back.
Absolutely not.
All right, so I'm not shouting out anybody's name. There was a streamer and he streamed only SWTOR. When the content dried up and he was waiting for the expansion, he switched games. Okay. And since he switched games, he hasn't come back because he's like, look I'm playing a game that I'm enjoying a lot. And I'm not talking about myself, right? For me, if I was a PvPer and I'm like, well, I think these things suck and they did suck. And now you're saying the last season was the worst they ever had. If you're a ranked PvP player, why wouldn't you go play a different game and start trying their PvP?
So that's kind of where SWTOR has a very unique PvP aspect to it. Your white bar mechanic is something that I've never, when people talk about white bar being different, I don't know what that is. And then they explain to me that there is no white bar in WoW. There are like, your effects become less and less effective as your match goes on, but there's no effective white bar, which is essentially the central mechanic of stuns and CCs. And in solo ranked, in group ranked, it is the primary mechanic that you work around, right? Your white bar is, if you don't understand it, your resolve. It's the mechanic in which you get stunned or CC'd. Once you hit a certain stun or CC ratio within a small amount of time, you hit a white bar, and your white bar means you can't get stunned or CC'd. If you are a tank or a healer, you want to make sure you don't use your CC break in order to help somebody on your team, because they're going to try to bait you to use that and then try to kill one of your teammates. I mean, this is going deep into the deepest mechanics of it.
Well, sure, but
you want to try to get your stuns off and hit both the tank and the healer, and to do as much damage as you can to the DPS and force them to use a defensive cooldown. Once that defensive cooldown's used, you have to wait around and keep swapping targets off a guard. And then when you're ready to reuse your stuns, or somebody else is ready to follow up on it, you have to do you do that again, and you force another DCD. You're not going to kill a good ranked group team in the first minute. It's going to take a good 2.5 minutes to start doing it, because you have to wither down their defensive cooldowns and you have to force people to use their CC break. That is probably that is what makes games so sweaty, because you're talking to 3 other people and you're talking about, what CC am I about to use? Do I need a hard stun? Do I need to force push? Who am I doing this on? Where do I go? Who am I attacking? This is all going on within seconds, and this is changing every 1.5 to 2 seconds. Guard swap. As a tank, I was just constantly guard swapping and interceding. Guard swap, guard one person, intercede to the other person, make sure they're not using a defensive cooldown, because my intercede is supposed to act as that short-term defensive cooldown. I used a CC break at the wrong time. Cool. The other team just saw me do that. They're going to use their next CC on me. I can't do anything about it. I'm literally going to stand next to my teammate and watch him die. That is what makes the game so sweaty. And I don't know, you guys can't see it, but like my hands are sweating just from remembering all this stuff from ranked PvP, because it's so intense. You're in there, you're in voice with all these people to get all of that coordinated, and the other team is doing the exact same thing.
All you listeners better appreciate how fired up Kogass is right now.
Yeah. But that's passion, and that's somebody that knows how to play it. So like when I complain about a bug being in a raid, or me jumping off a cliff because I didn't know it was there or it was bugged out, it's the same shit. But at the end of the day, I think the people that play it, you think it might be because of the white bar mechanic. I don't actually think so. I think people are obsessed with having a lightsaber and 2 blasters and being dressed up like the Mandalorian.
Yep.
And that's why they play it. No matter how bad the PvP is, or the state of PvP, because it's actually, believe it or not, when I played SWTOR PvP, it was actually fun, right? But I think the most part is that people are obsessed with just the fact of that they're playing their Star Wars story, and And then you throw in the PvP and it makes it that much more fun.
Yeah. That's the initial appeal to a majority of players, right? Because a majority of players are casuals. They're not going to be the high level rank. They're not going to be the Kogasses, they're not super epic.
Yeah. Well, the not super epic. That might be the initial appeal. If you get into ranked PvP, or if you just get into PvP in general and you start to understand those mechanics, that's the part that ends up keeping a lot of people in there, just because they're so unique. But those are a couple of, I don't want to say two, those are a couple of the reasons why PvP is awesome. The other one would be, oh man, the way, another reason why this season was so bad was because the way they dealt with toxicity, or their lack of actions against toxic players. We saw an abundance of toxicity, an abundance of just unwilling to play, just like we were talking about earlier, where people would just not engage in the map. They would stuck it. Not because somebody was bad like you, Marcus, but because they didn't like somebody on their team. Literally, I don't like you. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, but that's what they did. They would just /stuck because they were queued with me. But here's something
exactly
else. But see, this is what made me realize why toxicity happens. Okay. I queued for ranked. I queue for Destiny PvP. Every time I queue, I play with different people. When I played ranked PvP, I was queuing with the same, let's say 10 people over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, is there only 10 people playing this fucking game? Because like I'm getting stuck with the same people, and then they're like, not this person again, /stuck. And they're just laid dead for the whole match. And they would rather do that than play the actual game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at what point is it more fun to die than play the game? And how small is that pool if I'm playing against these guys or girls that every time I play with them, they're just stucking themselves, or the rants?
It's a small pool these days. It's a very small pool compared to what it was before. Yes.
I wonder why. And you have lack of, like, when was the last time a real PvP map came out? Like that Vanden Hutball or whatever it was, or Odessin? Like that was like 8 years ago. Maybe not that far, 4 years ago. Like that's not acceptable. Like there's a team that works on PvP. Make a new fucking map. Like bring some excitement into it, because like I said at the beginning of the show, the only people that are excited for SWTOR 7.0 expansion that I've seen are the PvPers. Everybody else is just doing the gear grind because that's what there is to do. And it's a long gear grind.
I actually didn't think it was that bad for PvP.
Well, no, because your guys aren't chasing that max level. Everybody who's Raiders wants all the nightmare gear, and in order to get the nightmare gear, you got to get the nightmare gear. So they got to go for the nightmare gear. Where in PvP, your rank isn't that high because they wanted it to be achievable so that people that play PvP could get to max level quick so that they could compete with each other. They didn't want that giant gear grind because then it would break the game even more than it is.
Right. I don't think PvP. So I think PvP peaked in SWTOR. I want to say season 8 through 11 almost. They did a lot of changes in season 10 that might have brought it down. But they needed to change the matchmaking system from season 9 to season 10. They had a lot of issues. But the worst season for me was season 12. And I think for anybody who really, if I see a juggernaut that has a gold rating from season 12, my hat's off to them. Because season 12 was the launch of 6.0. 6.0 was probably the worst time to be a juggernaut because we didn't have grit teeth. We didn't have force bound available. Those were like the two main things you needed as a juggernaut. And they weren't available. You had to wait for them to come around on Kai Zyken. I think it took them like 8 months to finally release them from Kai Zyken so you can craft them. And by that time, the season was pretty much 3/4 of the way done. It was a really bad season. It's definitely a low point for me in PvP. From season 8 to season 11, I had hit gold at least on one toon. Season 12 broke that streak. Didn't get it again in season 14. Season 14, it wasn't my goal. Season 13, it wasn't even my goal. But the other issues was, like I said, they did not do anything about the toxicity. In season 13, they were like, hey, these people are abusing vote kick. And, we can clearly see it on my stream that I was getting vote kicked when we were going to lose, because I would be the first target. I would be dead. My two teammates were two toxic players, and they would vote kick me out of the match, and then they would kill their friend on the other team, or the other person would finally die from acid. But they took care of that in season 13. They cared back in season 13. And you went from season 13 being a good, decent season, not the best, not the worst, but it was a good season. It was on track and much better than season 12.
Right.
And, I was like, okay, cool. We're back to return to form. And then they didn't do anything in season 14 for any of these toxic players.
But here's the
you
problem.
had people.
Well, I'm going to go back to it, and I'm sorry to cut you off. It comes when that happens, there's two things. They either don't care, which I know they do care, right? Or they don't have the personnel to police. That's the problem. I think in the state of the game, or the world, there's a lack of developers developing the game for whatever their reason being. And because of it, the game is hurting for it. And like you said, the shit that I heard that those people were saying to me via like chat. And then even once I left the queue and I was just on like the fleet, people were finding me, continuing to berate me. Like I had to legacy block people. So
yeah.
Either way,
and the whole they even messed up legacy block. I'm going to take this another step further. They screwed up legacy block because when they say, oh, you are now ignoring blank legacy, they don't tell you the character name. They should have just said you are ignoring blank character's name legacy. Because here's the thing was I had tunes that I would play ranked PvP on incognito. They wouldn't be Kogass. They wouldn't be any. The only thing that you might think it was me was that I had the same gear except for a main hand. I went as far as changing my main hand to throw people off and to have looks that weren't my normal looks on my tunes so that I could play ranked PvP on tunes that people didn't know were me when I wasn't streaming. Because that's how much I played ranked PvP in season 13. As soon as they brought in Legacy Ignore, they screwed me over because what people would do would be like, oh, who's this other player? We don't know who this is. Legacy Ignore. Oh, that's Kogass's legacy. Guys, that's Kogass. And now I am no longer incognito on any of those tunes because they screwed up that Legacy Ignore.
Well,
I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
Well,
that really screwed over ranked PvP
that's
for
pretty
me.
shocking, actually.
Yeah, but at the same time, so I understand both sides of the coin because on the other side of the coin, if somebody is really bad to somebody and they like need to get rid of them, they could just have another character and they could just berate them again. So it's kind of a catch-22. I understand you're getting
all you have to do. I'm not saying don't have a legacy ignore. Don't have them say the name of the legacy that you're ignoring.
Yeah, don't give up.
If my two name is Marcus B, say you are now ignoring Marcus B's legacy instead of saying you are ignoring B814 legacy B814 because that's what they did.
That's a sweet legacy name.
Yeah, it's a sweet Twitch name, man. You should combine the two.
So anything else in 7.0.2 that stuck out to you as an update, or is it really just bug fixes?
It's fixes and the lack of fixes. We still don't have augments fixed in PvP. If you guys didn't know right now, augments aren't working in PvP. So if you're talking about not worrying about a gear grind, you also don't need to worry about augments working. So your alacrity threshold and your accuracy threshold, if you go for either of those two stats, you cannot get those hitting with your augments because they have augments disabled right now. 7.0.2 was supposed to implement an attempted fix, I believe, but it did not, from what I understand. It's only been out for a few days, and I didn't really check yesterday. I've kind of been lackadaisy with it, with regs. I just want a PvP. I'm not really worried about how big I'm hitting unless it's, in a negative impact where, I was like, why am I getting 320 gear when my 306 gear works better? I'm going to stick to my 306 gear for a while. And then they finally fixed it. I was so sad. I loved being min-max in 306.
Go ahead.
So that also stuck out as a not fix for PvP. So even as you're saying all this, I still enjoy PvP in SWTOR in 7.0.2. I'm still enjoying playing Juggernaut. I'm still actually going to probably play Rage. And that you bring up a good point. They said that AoEs aren't properly working, or they weren't properly working. I think they might be fixing them. Something was going on with an operations thing, and they said they fixed it. They did a hot fix on it, but it messed up all AoEs, which means Vengeance Juggernauts were not doing any damage to anybody but their one main target, which means
what you just
ouch.
said is you cannot do AoE damage or AoEs. So you can't AoE taunt, you can't AoE heal, you can't AoE damage. Like, oh my God. Like, I'm sorry. Here's where this is where I'm not a game developer and I don't understand it. But like, you would think after 10 years of doing something, you wouldn't
I think they fixed it. I think they fixed it. There is an official dev post that says we're seeing reports of issues occurring with AoEs not working as intended in operations. After the above fix, it was deployed. The team is looking into what could be causing this. We'll keep you updated. The issue with boss targeting was functioning within operations. So
I guess I just don't understand game development, and it's got to be really hard.
AoE fix should now be working. Yeah, they said it should be working correctly. They had to revert in order for they had to revert boss targeting fix in order for AoEs to work. So they fixed it, but there was a time when it didn't work. For a little bit today.
Have they given an update on when the new operation is being released?
It's like that part in Titanic. It's been 84 years, and it feels like it was yesterday. Yeah, I have no idea when the operation is supposed to come out.
Okay.
Great question. I like that question. That's a really good question.
Thanks, Musco.
No problem.
For me, I've decided that when I come back in the new operation, I'm coming back in 306 gear and I'm jumping right into story mode R4. And I'm going to go like crazy. And I'm going to try it and we'll see how it feels. Because, man, I really love raiding and I'm eager to see what this 5 boss encounter looks like.
I'm really curious what it's going to look like too, because I still raid every once in a while.
You raid once a week.
Twice a week, thank you.
Oh, see, twice.
I'm slowly, listen, I'm doing that 330 gear grind. I'm just taking it at a very lax pace.
I think that, well, hey, guess what? There's no need to rush because there's no plans for an update because Charles Boyd today just announced that they started voice acting for the next story piece. So I don't know if they do the content first and then do the voice acting, or do they do the voice acting first and then do the game development? I don't know. But hooray, more voice acting happening. So I would say if we're end of April,
For all the listeners, that's just Marcus's thoughts, not mine. I don't have anything to do with those thoughts specifically.
What are you talking about? What thoughts?
I'm just that is all you there. That is you, Marcus, there.
What are you talking about?
I'm still trying to stay on PvP.
Oh, I just want more story. Like I play Star Wars to play the story. I want to play my Marauder story, and I want to be the most powerful Sith on the planet or in the galaxy. I mean,
you can't be the most powerful Sith on the planet. You're playing a Marauder instead of a Jug.
Well, I Jug tank, but anyway, Yeah. Well, I think now that we've woken up everybody to the PvP community, I think Kogass, you should tell us where they can find you.
Hi, I'm Kogass, and you can find me on Twitter. My handle is KOGASS with an underscore. Also at twitch.tv/KOGASS with an underscore. I was also featured as a Star Wars The Old Republic content creator, and you guys can go ahead and see what we had a little bit to say in there with the community. It should say right there, if you hit that community tab, content creators of SWTOR meet Kogass. And there's a little small interview, and you can see my main tune, Shark Bait Ooh Ha Ha.
Ooh ha ha. Atrax, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Atrax_A and twitch.tv/ is it backslash? I think it's backslash.
I just say slash.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever the right one is. A_Atrax. What about you, Marcus?
They know where they can find me. And you know where Nick is, getting splattered with paint in his face.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.